Welcome everybody to once again to Goosebuds episode 7, special episode.
Very special.
Very incredibly special. Hey, Goosebuds, where the buds come first and the gooses come later.
Buds before gooses.
That's our new tagline.
Is good for the buddies.
Oh, you know, can we? I never liked calling girls birds or chickens. By the way, that always seemed very inoffensive. When we're talking about it.
I never did that because I'm not British, so.
Oh no! I guess it was a British thing too. I just remember when
birds.
I think chickens is the hood term from the 90s.
Chicken heads.
Chicken heads.
Yeah,
it's chicken heads.
Yeah.
And Chad, I believe you're about to tell an anecdote about the song "No Pigeons."
Yeah. Yeah. Dom, will you please do it for me?
Oh, you know, I there's just this song. It's called "No Scrubs" by TLC, I think. And then some men got together and they said, "Hey, don't talk about my friends that way. We don't want no pigeons."
Yeah,
And,
it was such a weird term to use. It was like they bob their heads, like sucking the D. I think that's what they're going for.
Whoa!
Is that not right?
Really?
Is that not right?
Chad,
Is
you
that-
listened to the song?
Is that not what it's about?
That sounds like a good metaphor, though.
I always thought chicken heads and pigeons terms for women were about the head moving up and down. I swore there's a rap lyric. At least makes that connection.
I assumed it was
Yeah.
just referring to people living in the hood and their affinity for stray bird feed.
That might be it.
Yeah, I think you're ruining some people's poetry right now, Chad.
Well, I remember in their version of No Pigeons, which is a great music video if it's still online anywhere, they're so lazy about it. They're just like hanging out like, they just covered No Scrubs too. They're like, I don't want no pigeons. Girls need
Yeah,
to
they couldn't even get pigeons for the video. It was just sparrows. It was pretty low budget.
They just didn't have anybody who could actually identify birds on set, so they're just like, "That's probably a pigeon."
Get it before it flies away. Yes. Footage.
We only got so much
That's it,
16mm film.
boys.
Wait, all right.
I just
all right.
like to imagine that the video only has one shot of one bird. And then that's it.
Yeah, dude, they just looped it and flipped it and flopped it and did everything they had to do to it, man.
Star Wars.
Wait till you guys see the footage we got today.
You know, that's actually my favorite part about it. You need to go find amateur rap music videos from like small cities. There are like 50 dudes who are just hungry to be the next like Spike Jones of rap music videos, and they're all trying the craziest stuff. It's great.
They're like, "What if we put the solar flare filter on this one while I'm driving down the street?"
Yeah, like what if we like made your rap video while we were in the drive-thru of the Burger King? Would that be cool? That'd be like a cool thing, right?
I'm gonna sneak my cell phone into the Walmart.
Oh yeah, put some flair on that.
Hey, we should probably introduce our new friend for this show.
Oh God, yeah,
Our new bud.
I'm super. Our new bud. You are Aaron. Are you the first new bud?
Am I? Is this like the Game Grumps where I get my own little thing that goes up on?
No, we don't have anyone good enough to draw.
You don't
Well,
have
actually, no,
any
we do have the
animations?
amazingly talented Molly Holmes as our cover art, but she's more expensive.
We'll just Photoshop you on a pigeon later. It'll be good. That'll be
Perfect.
cool.
Yeah, we'll just do
Well,
that.
I'm Aaron. Hello.
Hi, yeah, let me introduce. So, if you're just tuning into the show for the first time, we cover Goosebump books and give them the critical eye they deserve. I'm one of your hosts, Chad Quant,
I'm Dominic.
And I'm other host, Paul.
and our special guest, our first Goose Bud, is our good friend Aaron Waltke.
Hello. You might recognize my sultry, dulcet tones from Paranoia Shoppe or Nowhere.
It is a special episode because, I mean, this is not an anniversary. It could be an anniversary. We're not consistent with with the show that much. It might be an anniversary. We should check. But episode 7, Night of the Living Dummy, is a pretty landmark Goosebumps book, I feel like.
I am honored to be on this episode with you guys because, as I think I've told Dom and Chad separately on a few occasions, Goosebumps and Goosebuds were both a big part of my life growing up. I was so obsessed with Goosebumps when I was a kid that I actually ordered them literally by the crate from that little checkmark thing that's in the back when it's like, you can order these straight from Scholastic or whatever.
Oh, this classic book club form?
Yeah,
I
I checked off all of them and made my parents buy them, and I just consumed them rapidly.
Plus, you named your firstborn Slappy, which is really, really cool of you.
I did. I was a lonely child.
Well, yeah, Slappy, the villain, we'll get into that, is like the main mascot of Goosebumps, right? Like, I feel like he's arguably the main face.
He?
He's kind of one of the big three, I think.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm trying to think who else really...
There's Curly, guys. Let's not forget about
the
Mohawk
Curly,
sunglass-wearing skeleton.
Curly the skeleton, who's not in any of the books, is probably the actual mascot.
Yeah.
But hold on, wait. I don't even know of Curly the skeleton.
No, we named Curly.
Don't Google it.
I'm doing it. Oh, shit! I already did it.
Too scary.
Oh my god! I just turned into a skeleton myself. I'm so scared.
He was like a rad skateboarder skeleton.
Yeah, there was also Monster Blood is sort of like the other seminal thing.
All right, so if we're looking at this like the way like DC or Marvel have their like the big three, so it's like Iron Man, Thor, and Cap. Goosebumps' big three is Curly.
It looks like
Slappy.
And maybe the Haunted Mask.
A can of Monster Blood and just a scared teenager. Well, just like a shocked teenager.
If I'm going by the Shrieks and Spiders game for Goosebumps,
which I owned,
which Dom owns, Slappy, Curly, Mummy.
Oh, the Mummy?
I don't know about the Mummy. I don't know. That might have just been like it was the first. Might have been like the first 5 books that come out. So like that's good enough. We got enough characters. Put them on the front.
Yeah, everyone knows what a mummy is. Throw it in there.
That way they know it's
scary. Think a hamster. I think it was said, but hamster, Monster Blood 2.
Yeah, totally.
That hamster. He was kind of. I think he was a kids meal toy at some point.
Yeah, that feels right.
He is the avatar of Monster Blood, the carrier of it. Probably the most well known carrier.
Probably better than that one dog who ate some and got sick.
It just got real sick. Yeah.
Got real
sick.
Do you
think did they ever sell Monster Blood? Like, did they ever just like get Nickelodeon to release a Monster Blood GAC?
Yeah, why wouldn't they? Must have, right?
They had to have done that. Right?
I think it might have been a deal with a Scholastic book. Like if you ordered a certain one or whatever, like you paid a little bit more money and got the deluxe edition or something. I remember they did that with Goosebumps boxers one time, and like all the kids in my class got them, but I didn't.
Oh, I had Goosebumps bed sheets, man. Those things were fucking tight.
What?
I belonged to the Goosebumps fan club, and they would send you like a box of swag, like a loot crate, every 3 or 4 months.
Really?
Or so. Yeah.
Shit,
oh my god, that sounds amazing.
The most embarrassing thing is, I think I had the Goosebumps bed sheets well beyond the point I should have had, because I had like I had one of those like what's your smallest bed as a kid, like a single or whatever it is, like a single double.
Yeah.
Like I had one of those beds. I was like, I like this bed, and I was just like curled up into it in a fetal position, and way beyond the height that I should have been sleeping on, I still stayed on it. So I had these Goosebumps bed sheets because they were so cool.
Were they the purple ones? Were they the purple ones?
Purple ones with like the different mascots popping up on it. Yeah.
So yeah, it's got Mummy, it's got Curly, it's got Slappy, it's got Hamster, all coming out of Monster
maybe the
Blood.
Hamster, but the last part about it was me. There was at some point where I was thinking, I kind of like girls. I'd like to have them be in my bedroom. I don't know what I want to do yet.
You don't want to scare them too much.
I don't even know what I'm supposed to do in the bedroom. But I wonder if they're going to like these Goosebump sheets. I remember having that thought.
I hope so, because that's a litmus test.
Yeah, you were well on your way, Chad.
Maybe we should cover it doesn't have to do this regular, but I feel like it might be good for us to check in when it's been a while. Guys, what's been going on in your guys' lives? And follow-up question, has anything spooky or scary happened? No pressure.
Spooky or scary?
Or just anything that's going on in your life, because it's been a while since we caught up.
Well, I'll tell you what's been going on with my life. I moved.
You moved. You're back.
I'm in Los Angeles.
California dreams.
Yeah, the thing that happened in my life was I lost my best friend.
Yeah, I said, Paul, I love you, but you just watching Goosebumps with you is too scary. That's what I said. That's what I said.
Dom, this is really sweet. This is very sweet. I got to break something to you. You know, my best friend was the pigeon that the dude stole and used in that video for No Pigeons. That was my best friend. You were my second best friend right after the pigeon.
All right.
That's a high-level callback there, Paul.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean,
I went back like 5 minutes, guys.
that pigeon's pretty famous. So second place is pretty good.
I
Second
think
place.
what's going to happen is you moved back out here. At some point, Paul will not be able to resist the siren call of Los Angeles. Then I'm going to move to Philly, and then
Yes,
Aaron
yes.
and then Aaron learns Chinese overnight and moves to China. And then
Unrelated.
and then we all come back at the four corners of wherever that is in America, Nevada,
Utah.
Utah.
I'll meet you in Utah.
We meet in
I'll
four
be the
corners,
Utah
and we
part.
all stand in a different corner. and We go, finally, we're together.
We were like
And
ships
that's-
passing in the night.
Dude, yeah, we'll do like a Captain Planet thing at that point. We'll like,
Okay,
summon
yeah, sure.
somebody.
If you want to go that way for it, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
maybe we'll summon R.L. Stein.
Oh, that's it. That's when
Possibly.
R.L. Stein will be a guest on this show. That's when it'll be.
Yeah, we got to straighten our ship up before we get R.L. Stein on, though, by the way, guys. I feel like there's a ticking clock before R.L. Stein finds this show, before we're ready for him.
Yeah.
And sues the shit out of you.
I can't, yeah, I mean, like, we're kind of promoting his book sales a little bit. I don't know. We should get in on that, like a referral fee with him. Also, another thing to realize, guys, is a lot of Goosebumps aren't in print anymore. I've been doing some research, especially for this last episode. Like, you just can't get some of these books anymore.
Really?
Some of them, like a few of them, are just like, well, they're not according to the websites unless there's a new printing come out. It's just like, yeah, this one about a shark underwater, can't get it. Too bad.
Deep trouble.
Yeah, Deep Trouble. Yeah, no, I have a thing about the book series I want to get into. I'll save it for later. That it led me to these discoveries. It blew my mind. But we'll get back to that. Dom, you moved out. Paul, you haven't moved.
I have not.
What else is happening in your life?
In my
What isn't happening?
well, trees are green here now, which is nice. The Philadelphia is no longer a barren wasteland of trash, which is nice. We're finishing Smart Guys. It's almost done. We're very, very close. And then once we're done doing that, we got some big projects that we're planning and getting ready to work on. So,
if you guys don't have, for some reason, know Smart Guys, the amazing Kickstarter series, you guys are. I got something from you guys. I kickstarted it. Are you guys going to sign it? Can you guys like put a special note in there and like make it pretend like I?
you know, you're really breaking my balls here, but okay.
I'm
You know,
sorry,
Chad,
which-
that was the $35 reward.
Yeah, which
getting
tier
a
did you
signature,
pledge to?
So
I don't remember what tier I pledged to, so I'm embarrassed to guess.
Don't worry, I already judged you for how much money you gave us at some point, so I won't do it again.
I know that you guys can see. I'll save that story for another time. But you can actually be incredibly embarrassed when you change your pledge on your friend's Kickstarter. I did not do this to you, to another friend. It notifies them or something. They can see when a change has been made.
Did you drop down?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll give you. All right, fine. I might have told you before. I'll give you the bare bones story. Aaron's heard this a million times. A friend that I casually know had a ridiculously priced Kickstarter that was not going to make it, and I thought I had figured out the system of like, well, you know, there's like $10,000 to go, and they've only gotten $1,000 so far. I'm gonna feel real good and promise $200.
It's like free karma.
Free karma. It's free. It
Ooh.
honestly, as an idea, makes sense. Like, it's kind of a scummy Seinfeld-esque. It's a Seinfeld plot. It's totally
Yes.
a Seinfeld plot. You promise more money than you would ever want to pay,
Right.
knowing that they're never going to get to collect it. But in their eyes, you're a hero. Like,
Have you watched the latest Silicon Valley?
No,
Have you
I've
watched
not.
any
Did
of
they
the
cover
show?
this? Oh, yeah,
This
I
is
love
literally a
Silicon.
plot line in
Yeah,
one of the
they do that.
episodes.
I'm so mad they took it.
Yep.
Oh, no, they do that with Kumail Nanjiani's character. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind
Yep.
of like that.
Yep.
They totally do that. Yeah, so wouldn't you know it, the friend who had their Kickstarter going, I realized far too late that they have pretty wealthy parents.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's
no.
like Chad was bragging about his karma system, and then someone was like, "You realize that Charlotte has really wealthy parents, right?"
Right.
And then Chad, I saw the color drain out of his face.
Because if you have the money, you might as well pay the rest of Kickstarter yourself to get at least like, you know, $2,000 or whatever. And
Yeah.
wouldn't you know it, the next day a $5,000 donation came in from someone with the same last name, and I had to awkwardly lower my pledge down to $25 and then explain myself to her when she politely asked why that had changed.
Except you didn't. She sent you a Facebook message saying, "Hey, I noticed you changed your Facebook pledge," and you just didn't respond.
No, I responded. It took me like a month.
after the Kickstarter.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry.
What was your excuse? I need to know.
God, what did I say? I think I said I I either went one of
Drunk
two
high?
ways.
Drunk high.
I was either drunk. I think I said I was. I think what I said was I had clicked the wrong button.
Yeah.
Like, or I went the really dastardly way and went for the sympathy route of like, sorry, money's just tighter than I realized this month, and I got to pay the rent, or something to make me feel like, oh, Chad was gonna pay it, even though his money was super tight. Like,
Even though you made that up.
even though I made that up,
Right.
Like,
Right.
oh god, it was a terror. I learned a lesson from it, but I think the system still works. We are way off topic from Goosebuds.
Hey, I just want to say, I want to get this. I just want to have this point said, and then we can move on, guys.
Sure.
All right.
Next time that happens, Chad,
Yeah.
the ultimate excuse is just to say that I feel like you should say, and you can only use it once, but you can be like, look, I this is a crazy story, but I tried heroin for the first time. It was a wild 24 hours, and I did a lot of things, but I did want to donate, so I just lowered it to 25.
Oh, wait. I thought you were going down a path where you're going to be like, I tried heroin for the first time, and I like it a lot. And I'm going to go with that instead of paying
Oh, that's
you
also the
money.
other way to go. I tried heroin for the first time. I have no
that's
money
the missing
anymore.
information.
That's a
I was gonna say I got bit by a snake and the anti-venom was really expensive. Because who's gonna question you on getting bit by a snake? You know what I'm saying?
Alternatively, what you could do is you start to play this kind of social game where you're trying to see if your friend reaches out to you. Is you do that multiple times to them, and you keep telling them the excuse of "I tried heroin for the first time. I'm sorry," and just wait for them to call you out on your heroin problem.
Yeah, and then they're going to get you together, and they're going to make you do heroin right in front of them. And it's going to be awesome.
To prove you're not a cop. We should jump into the book.
So dummies.
So dummies. All right.
So dummies.
So
Did you guys know getting into this book first off that Slappy is like not in the book? Did you remember
I
that?
didn't know that.
I forgot.
Yeah. It was a real shock to me when it started happening. When we started getting into Mr. Woody, what was it? Mr.
Yeah, I think Mr.
Wood,
James
right?
Mr.
Woods
Wood.
is his name. Mr. James Woods.
Mr. James Woods. When we got
The
into
other phallic reference or nickname.
yeah.
Mr. Erection, I believe.
Actually, yeah, Slappy and Mr. Wood are both great porn star names. I hadn't thought about that.
Yes,
Male
they
porn,
are.
Yes, they are.
When we started getting all the Mr. Wood storylines, I was like, oh, yeah, he's the guy. But in my brain, I was like, wait, is it Slappy doing this the whole time and making them think it's Mr. Wood? And I couldn't remember. But then when I got to the end, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. It was him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there
was
was
him.
no twist.
Yeah, let's set you guys up in case you're not following along with the books. This is a story about two twins who are the worst, who both decide simultaneously to take up the popular teenage youth activity of ventriloquism from a dummy they found in the garbage.
Hey, Chad, you may make fun of them, but this town went fucking nuts.
If you look at this book, minus the possessed demon dummy that comes up later, if this story is just about two youths trying to change the world through the power of ventriloquism,
Yeah.
it totally plays.
That was actually a specific note I had. It said, it said, Chris wants her own dummy. Everyone at the school loves the dummy. For a split second, it feels like a chronicle of the rise of a dummy fad in middle school America.
Oh, I know. I kept cutting to like inspirational music of just like in my mind the trailer is like, oh, I found this dummy, and then cutting to them like trying out new jokes, and then cut to their parents who are like, you get that dummy out of here. I don't want to see that dummy ever again. And then cut to just like them practicing in the basement and quiet. It's like Oscar Academy Award winner girl from Little Miss Sunshine, and also other character that she's playing as Night of the Dummy.
It's like when they try to play rock and roll in Syria. Like it's an underground fad.
So the kids, correct me if I miss any steps, the kids find a garbage dummy, and then, so that's mysterious because that has a strange origin. But then immediately the father.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out was it like a pods that they found it in? You know, was it like a 1-800 got junk thing that they found it in?
No, that really bothered me because theoretically, all right, no spoiler, these dummies are evil, right? The dummy is bad and bad magic. It's in the trash.
Yeah.
So did the trash turn it evil, or was this an evil dummy that as soon as the person who... There's another story somewhere where someone had an encounter with Slappy, and said,
Well-
I'm tired of this evil dummy. I'm going to throw him away. And it worked.
Well, there's two.
I don't know.
dummies.
Well, no,
yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say Slappy's not evil. Slappy has turned evil. I think.
I think,
I don't
right?
know.
Yeah, so to explain, though, like, so Slappy's found in the garbage, and you think, this is the dummy of the book. He's on
Right.
the cover. Sounds good. And then the dad just gets another dummy
From the pawn shop.
from the pawn shop.
And that pawn shop guy sells it to him real cheap, which was him offloading the curse.
Yeah.
So Mr. Wood is the
That's
dummy.
That's a classic misdirection, though. Is that a character will just buy another one of the same thing that you think you're about to see, and that's what the movie's about.
Which one is it? Which one is
Well,
it?
no, yeah, I mean, I gotta give him credit, but also this feels like the sequel to a dummy story, and
It
that like
does.
you always. I'm following Chucky rules. The first story is always the doll itself being alive, and then
Right.
you throw in either like the dummy's back but tougher, or has a bride, or has a twin brother.
Paintball tournament.
But that's what you go to, and now the fact there's two evil dummies. Here's the problem. If you're looking at this book without any connection, knowing the Goosebumps franchise and mythos, you think Slappy's just a dummy that's just hanging out in the corner and is just a misdirect, I guess. Like,
Well, okay, so I'm not every kid in the United States because for me, every dummy is evil. So I knew from the get-go that every single one of these dummies was bad news. That's all.
Well, Paul, I think you need to explain the story.
yes,
of
please,
why.
please, yeah, please dive into this.
We did build up to this, didn't we? Okay, so I guess I'll lay it out now so we can have it before everything else.
Okay, sure.
And I'll hum spookily.
Please.
No, please don't make us put that in post audio. Just take care of it.
Yeah, just do it right now.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to tell a story with you humming in the background.
No, I won't be able to listen.
I'll put in something
It's a good
really
story.
good.
I want to hear it.
So I grew up in a relatively privileged suburban neighborhood, so I didn't have to worry about like bullets or starving or anything like that. So I was able to put all of my fear into irrational things like being afraid of Chucky from the Chucky movies, which is a completely logical thing to be afraid of. So I was a scared kid. I went to Catholic school. They, hellfire and brimstone pumped into me from an early age.
They warned you about the devil and dummies.
Yeah, I was like a stew of neuroses. I was just like
you were a scared.
I was a scared kid. So, and my dad liked to scare me with horror movies when I was growing up. So I was pretty scared of Chucky growing up. Like that was probably my number one fear was that movie. And like my whole family knew it, and my cousins knew it, and they all tortured me with it. And I got a My Buddy doll. I don't know if you guys remember the My Buddy doll.
Oh, yeah.
But it looked exactly like Chucky, like Chucky. But I had it before I was afraid of Chucky, so I loved it. I was like, oh, it's my, it was my buddy. I loved it.
Oh, and then it ruined it for you? The movie
And then
ruined
Chucky, okay, so Chucky scared me, and I was like, I don't know if I trust this guy anymore. so I was like, so I decided, brilliant plan. I was like, I'll put him in the closet at night. That way he can't come to life and murder me because he won't be able to get out of the closet, which, from this book, works, apparently.
Yeah, see, I never liked the idea of putting the thing that terrifies you where you can't see it, actually. Like,
Yeah.
closet doors are worse when you can't tell what's behind them, honestly. I always thought.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when I did it, this is vague recollection, but I'm pretty sure when I did it, I put him in front of it. I had a rocking chair in my room. I'm pretty sure I put him in there and then did the old rocking chair under the doorknobs thing so that it couldn't open it, even if it wanted to. I was
Okay.
pretty safe about my Chucky that lived in my room.
He was pretty scared.
I was pretty scared. So I started throwing them in this closet, and okay, my dad liked to play pranks on me as a kid, and I started throwing them in the closet, and then magically, in the morning I would wake up. So he was in the other side of my room, and I had like I said, the rocking chair. I'd wake up in the morning after having thrown him in and locked him in, and there would be good old my buddy sitting on a rocking chair, eye level with me, face to face.
Holy
in
shit.
my face.
Did you do something to piss
For
off your dad?
For weeks, it would happen.
And you've effectively just described the first half of this book.
This
With that anecdote.
I lived this. That's a note. Is that I lived this book. I was living it. Like,
Did your dad ever like fess up for it, or like
He fessed up eventually, and then he started getting crazier with the scares. And I'll save those stories for another day.
Holy shit!
But that was the first true scare he gave me, and dude, it was horrific. Because look at these kids, like what happened to them in this story. That's what happened to me, and my brother didn't do it. I knew he didn't do it. I talked to him about it because he was also scared. He was getting a little fear in him too, you know.
Well, did you and your brother also bicker and fight all the time, like these two twins do, to the point of I hated them?
Absolutely, because R.L. Stine nailed that dynamic.
I know. I was like, I guess this is just kind of like I think half of this book felt like the twins, which I honestly, I kept forgetting halfway through if they were both girls, like a boy, girl. I couldn't tell because their names were vaguely unisex. And he didn't, for some reason, spend a page describing their clothes and hair color and physical descriptions this time like he normally does.
He jumped right into them being unpleasant.
Yeah, the kids on this one are pretty terrible. I ask, do you think kids now would even know what a ventriloquist dummy is?
They would see it and hate it probably immediately.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think that's a safe assumption.
I mean, I hate most ventriloquist dummies I see. I mean, I don't dislike ventriloquism, but they're pretty hideous looking.
Yeah, I get that they're disturbing, but it feels like the first time they find Slappy in the garbage, their first thought is, oh no, someone put a baby in the trash.
Yeah, that's the first jump scare.
The first jump scare is,
Yep.
oh no, a child in the trash.
Oh no,
Yep.
the child is dead. I believe in the actual...
A garbage baby.
No, oh no, the child is dead and turned into wood. That's the dummy.
There's a lot of weird. I should let you guys just actually hit some of your grievances or thoughts with the middle part of the story. We should just jump into it.
The middle part?
I mean, just like the early to middle part. I would say the first part of it, the scariest thing that happens for a while, other than maybe seeing a dummy against a wall, is that one of the girls or guys, I forget, has nightmares that you don't see.
Yeah, she doesn't even... Like, it's just something that's chasing her, which the dummy never chases her, so she's not even having like a prescient vision or anything, which is, come on, wasted potential there.
It's not a premonition of anything. It's just like they had a bad dream when they woke up.
Yeah, is this like a dream just brought on by like childhood anxiety? Is that what? Are we just getting a peek into the window of what these kids' life is like without scary dummies running around?
Yeah, it's your typical Catholic school neurosis nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's the pressure of Catholic school plus wanting to be a world-class ventriloquist weighing down on you. And then having a rival. That's actually a great comedy script. I don't know what it is, like just two rival ventriloquist twins going at it with their dummies.
Yeah. So, the whole premise of the book, and this is like the first 2/3 of the book, is just two twin sisters hate each other, and they get into a jealous rivalry over who can be a better ventriloquist.
Pretty much.
Because the spooky action that happens in the first 2/3 is all brought on by the one jerk sister who's the better ventriloquist and thus deserves to be playing these pranks on her other sister. But
it's Anne Rand of pranks.
Yeah. She pranks the fuck out of her sister, so you find out that all the spooky stuff that happened up to that point wasn't spooky.
Yeah, this is Aaron. I think you've listened to the podcast when I put you on the spot before. I wanted to hear your thoughts on how these prank cliffhangers. Every kid in Goosebumps is a prank master. They're all masters of pranks, and they are responsible for what you guys would say half of the cliffhangers.
Or like, yeah, half the cliffhangers, and it's always just another piece of shit kid playing a prank on another one.
So this is the one where all sounds like I gotta vary it up. I can't just keep having a prank and then a cliffhanger and then going, gotcha, it was a prank. I'm gonna have a bunch of scary things happen that get you genuinely fearful and excited, and then build them up as a combo breaker of all pranks. They were all pranks.
It was all one mega prank, which I was like, well, that's the end of the story. Like, like there's nothing haunted going on here, and yet we're only halfway through the book.
And then she finds the horrible Latin curse inside of his thing and decides to read it out loud. And then that happens.
That's like, you could just skip that whole first fucking half of the book. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Nothing scary happened. It was just kids playing pranks. Also, I remember thinking there's one of the big scary things that Mr. Wood or Slappy does When you think he's possessed, goes to the fridge, puts some eggs on the ground. What an evil dummy.
Yeah. So Mr. Wood's big idea of revenge, just to skip ahead a little bit, he gets like his head bonked by one of the twins.
Oh, so you're coming to Mr. Wood is possessed.
I don't remember where this happens. Does this happen after?
This sounds
possessed?
like, well, when he says his head, yeah, I think this is after he's turned real.
But anyway, so to get his revenge, one of his master plan is to go downstairs, eat a bunch of chicken, put jewelry on, and then dump orange juice on his head.
No, sorry. Yeah, this is when he was fake. But yes. I was like, what is his game plan?
I don't know.
Well, I think it's more of a weird fetish that whatever is inside this doll
What is inside
living
that
out.
doll?
He's like,
That was the first clue.
Well, I think that cliffhanger ends, or maybe it's not where the cliffhanger ends, but I remember at one point in the height of the climax of that moment, during the climax, she's like, the refrigerator was empty, and I remember like reading that and being like, that's it? Like he stole all your food? Like that was the big thing?
was it like a Grinch dummy?
Yeah.
He just had an eating disorder.
Yeah, I think we're gonna start having like more adult concerns reading these books than kids would. Like my major concern, which was never resolved, was a passing comment on like, yeah, but remember we have that party today at school, a going away party for the student teacher, Mrs. Flores, who has no relevance to the plot whatsoever. But that's mentioned for a paragraph. It's like, what happened to her? Did Miss Florence die? Is she going away? What's going on with her life? Never will know.
Yep.
I will say in the first half of this book, when they were having all these sort of these weird nightmare sequences, and she would just keep waking up, and it would get really hot and muggy, and then she would see the dummy propped up in the corner. It really felt like a steamy scene from a Harlequin romance novel.
Like he was there in the corner looking at him with his glass eyes.
The room felt hot and muggy. She gets out of bed. Is it really a dream? She starts caressing his hair, his eyes gleaming in the moonlight. He grabs her hand, and they lean in for a kiss.
Well, I think we can all agree that this is just R.L. Stein's previous porn writing experience shining through yet again.
Yes. The shiny hair is like the a cliche in that kind of sexual writing.
Well, thanks for reminding me. I need to look up that Goosebumps Slappy romance fan fiction exists. I am scanning it right now. Of course it would, because why would you not be turned on by something from your childhood like everyone else is? Oh, God. Oh, no.
If you could see
no. Guys,
what are you saying?
Do you want to get the podcast?
Is this like the Ninja Turtle dick photo?
Do you want to get the podcast taken down from iTunes? Oh God, the first thing I saw was I groan and think he is way better than Matt. I can't stop groaning as he keeps kissing and licking. I feel me about to come. Slappy's breath against my ear stops me. Don't come yet. That's all I read. So someone, seemingly this man who has a picture of himself as the author, who looks our age.
Is he wearing a crown?
Wearing a crown. Found
Hold on,
himself,
Burger King crown?
Oh, sorry. It's a picture of Moriarty from Sherlock. So I'm glad the Sherlock fandom is doing real good. Found himself motivated to do a fan fiction called No Escape from Panic Park. And the logline is, what if they never escape from Panic Park? What if they were forced to stay there for the rest of their lives? Romance blooms between two characters. And will the menace find out or not? And will Slappy find out about Brittany and Matt's romance or not? Sorry.
Hey, it's posing a lot of questions. If it's bringing up that many questions in the log line, can you imagine what kind of questions the narrative brings up? I mean, come on.
I had not thought about Slappy as an erotic lead, but now
I mean, this is chapter 12.
To be fair, yeah, I'm sure they laid a lot of groundwork to really establish.
Did he hold his cum? We don't know.
I'm going to let you guys read on to find out. I will unfortunately include a link to this in the YouTube video of this episode. Let's get this up to the top of the fanfiction.net forums. Am I right? Anyway, sorry.
So the two girls.
Let's get back to about this story about these teenage girls who want to be ventriloquists and have a possessed dummy.
I just wanted to read the description of Mr. Wood when he's introduced, and then we can play off it. So, Slappy is found in the dumpster, and then the dad brings in Mr. Wood, who's the cool new dummy, and it says, the new dummy wore blue denim jeans and a red and green flannel shirt. and instead of the formal-looking shiny brown shoes that Slappy had, he had white high-top sneakers. That's one cool-ass dummy.
Oh yeah,
That's
Oh man.
no. I made a note of that when this happened. It was as soon as I read that, I envisioned like cool '80s music popping in, like the new kid at school, Mr. Wood, like sunglasses popping on.
he's popping and locking in my brain, dude. Like I'm seeing him just dancing.
I wrote that
You would have to go to like the assembly theater, and there would be a ventriloquist. Mr. Wood is the cool dummy that they would bring out, and everyone in the crowd would be like, "Damn, I do." My favorite part was Mr. Wood. How we talked about Sega Genesis.
You had a great joke about Vector Man that really resonated with me. I think the fact that
That really happened one time, by the way. We had a puppets come to my school, and the outline was, "Let's go play with your Sega Genesis." Hopped away.
that's his like
That's his button.
That's his button.
Yeah, man.
I think it's important to note that there are multiple times the phrase "Wow, she's a way cooler ventriloquist than me" is spoken in this book.
That dummy is straight from a Nirvana concert. Or possibly is also a Home Improvement commemorative doll of Al Borland.
So you have super cool Mr. Wood, and Slappy's just off to the side, not doing anything this whole book. Just, I guess Slappy's getting murdered a couple times?
Yeah,
Or was that part of the
up.
prank?
That was all part of the prank. Him picking on Slappy.
Yeah, the girls keep finding the dolls erotically strangling each other. Like that's what was going on. Like you just walk in and find that happening, and I was like, what is their plan here? Because they're made of wood. This is a question for most of the dummies: is what is Mr. Wood's game plan?
Right.
So I guess that ties into them finding this magic spell that was in his pocket, right?
Well, there's no explanation. She just looks down and she goes, "Oh, cool, a piece of paper. I'll read it out loud, and nothing bad will happen."
The magic was curiosity.
Yeah.
That was the real magic all along.
But she reads the curse out loud and then puts it back in his pocket and is like, "Okay, time to go, do my boring things that I've been doing for 2/3 of the book." and then he starts acting a fool.
But what does he even do? He mostly just like moves a little bit.
He tells really bad insults to people. His insults are just straight up like, "You're fat," and like that's it.
No, I actually really enjoyed that because it just felt actually cruel and mean for once. So there was a possessed dummy just insulting people.
Hey, you got yellow teeth. Ah.
Yeah. What is that from? Your bad breath? That's all he says. Like what? Although he does.
Yo, I would be offended if somebody said that shit to me. I don't know about you, Paul.
I would
I'd put my
too.
Dukes up.
I would
But
fuck
I
that
think-
dummy up.
He got that teacher pretty good though. He got that teacher really good right before he exorcist also carried everybody at the same time.
The scene of they're at the school talent show, which has 2 ventriloquist acts. My oh my, can you believe seeing 2 ventriloquist acts in one talent
Sister
show?
against sister.
Sister against sister. My, the pressure.
Was the one was a rapping act, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they kept mentioning the rap act, and I so desperately wanted to hear that rap.
In my brain, it was the Teen Witch rap, without a doubt.
Did anyone watch the episode by chance?
No, I did not.
No.
Did anyone consult it?
Damn, I almost did. Well, if you did, and there is a rapping scene,
Please
please
rip it.
let us know.
Yeah,
comment.
as I read this, I was like, this one, like when I was reading the end portion, when he comes to life and he's running away and they're fighting with him and stuff, I was like, this one has to be great for the television show. I have to see what happens.
Because as far as special effects go, you just need an actual ventriloquist dummy, and it basically works. Like,
Yeah.
you just need to show them darting around corners, which is just like a head, just someone just holding the dummy and moving it around the corner as they walk by. Like, you're good. Super, super genuinely scary. By the way, like, we're not really skipping over anything. This book has like just nothing really happening for large part of the middle.
Most of it is just a dummy moves.
Yep. It's a dummy moves, and Chris, the one sister, is really bad at taking constructive criticism.
The horror of personal growth.
Yeah, a lot of it's like, oh god, my performance didn't go over well. Again, this is an inspirational movie about being a ventriloquist. Like the second act climax would be the talent show when, oops, like you said before, my dummy just his head came off and started spurting green goo over everyone.
That smelled like poop. Apparently,
Like, so it's poop, right? Like, there's no way. When I first read it, I read it as like it's just bubbling up, like one of those kind of lame science projects you do where you put like baking soda,
the volcano,
and
right?
vinegar. And I was like, okay, so it's probably bubbling over her arm. It's probably a little gross. But then I realized the entire stadium like is reacting to it and running.
Yeah, it's like smells like rotten eggs and milk.
So then I started
And
wondering,
she said,
is it Gallagher?
like, there's a moment of good like action description in there where she puts her hand over it, and it's coming out in such a torrent that it pushes her hand away.
Yeah, so it's a
coming
fire
out
hose.
Yeah, it's coming out Exorcist speed, without a doubt.
I guess you don't question an exorcist. Like I had a lot of questions about like, does that mean the green goo was inside Mr. Wood this whole time? Is
he generating it, or are these the powers he was talking about over and over again?
Mr.
like
Wood likes to talk about his powers, which might not exist.
Yeah, he says, I have powers.
And yet he never uses them.
He may actually be.
I mean, he does. Let's. I just want to point out here, he does refer to the girls as his slaves, and he does slap them.
Yeah.
So this book does feature a slapping of slaves.
It's a lot of fetishism.
No, yeah. Is it weird that I kind of really liked Mr. Wood and that he just referred to everyone as slaves?
Yeah.
He said kind of a lot about like punishment and promised cruelty to a lot of people. Though I mean, he hurt a dog, and you do not hurt dogs. Do not hurt dogs. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Hey, he
Oh
choked.
yeah, that was upsetting. I got a little scared.
Hey, but that dog was named Barky, and if you want your dog to be a piece of shit, name it Barky.
Yeah.
The long list of R.L. Stein not being able to name a dog, annoying dog.
Oh gosh.
No, yeah, I mean that.
But this scene is like a pretty awesome Goosebumps scene.
You mean
right?
when
which
Mr.
one?
Wood is
the
finally
auditorium?
fighting?
I mean,
Yeah.
with the vomit and stuff. I mean, if you're a kid reading Goosebumps, like this is the type of shit you want to come across.
The
right?
last third of the book is actually pretty good Goosebumps stuff.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought the actual action when it took place was good.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would remember, probably without even remembering any details of it too. Is this is the problem that affect a lot of Goosebumps books? Is it feels like R.L. Stein never wants to pull the trigger on the fun stuff until the last chapter. Like,
he wants to hold his cum in for Slappy.
well done.
Show's over.
Show's
folks.
over. Just said right. We'll just
Pack
end
it
right.
up.
Pack up shop.
We'll just end right there. No, like he always wants. At least this one, at least the last third, yes, is an actual dummy is yelling at these girls, calling them slaves, trying to fight them, and then continually.
he's like a drunk grandpa. That's
Yeah, I wrote down a couple of his quotes. His literal quotes were, "You can't kill me. I have powers," which he says several times, and his powers seem to be near immortality, biting, and complaining. And then he also warns them a lot. He keeps saying, "I'm warning you. I'm warning you."
Yeah, so he doesn't have much of a threat. Still terrifying. I thought it was interesting that the entire, like, all the horror scenes, the parents are there. This is the first time the parents haven't, like, left. There's one scene where they go on a trip or, like, an errand.
yeah.
To excuse...
And the dad leaves for a little bit for some reason.
Yeah, but then most of the battle with Mr. Wood is still just, like, them upstairs going, like, "Hey, you kids, why are you wrestling with that dummy who's not moving?"
Yeah.
And then going, "Well, the dummy's alive." "No, you stop it."
And then they go back to bed, and he immediately starts trying to enslave them again.
Yeah, I kept thinking about, like, honestly, because this is always the terror, right, as a kid, is like your parents aren't paying attention to you, and you're all alone even though they're right there. It's like, what could the girls have done to get the parents to understand that this dummy was real?
I don't. You know, this was one of those moments where the parents, of course, there was a classic moment when she's reading the Stephen King book and she doesn't want to hear about it.
Oh, God.
You know that happens as it always. It has to happen. Okay. But
And is that an R.L. Stein diss to himself?
I don't know.
Is he like, guys, Stephen King is so important, parents don't want to be bothered with Goosebumps activities?
No, I mean, I think it's a matter also of, like, I just need to find some way to not have... I think it's an issue of writers. Like, these parents are always an issue for them because these kids can't be living alone because they're kids. Right. And any parent, any dad would go up to Slappy or Mr. Wood and just go, "Okay, I'm going to run him over with my car. Problem solved." Like, that's just the instant fix. Because
right.
I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't know how strong Mr. Wood or Slappy are. They seem to have like superhuman strength sometimes. Especially
Well, she does say he was surprisingly powerful, but she was a 12-year-old girl, so I don't know. I mean,
well, he's probably powerful like Chucky's powerful, because Chucky's got like magic strength.
He's got good strength. He's got killer strength inside of him.
Yeah,
he murders a couple guys.
Like big guys. Yeah.
No, yeah, the physics of a living doll, every monster always eludes me. I get the idea of like it's animated and sentient. It can cut out your little legs if you're not paying attention, or it gets a hold on you. But for it to have inhuman strength, I guess if like a demon's possessing it, I guess it's like the physics of them moving the arms and legs stronger than you. You know what I mean? Like you start to get into physics ideas. Because at one point, she falls down the stairs wrestling with the dummy. And like, what did he do to you? Like, you had him in your hands.
Does he weigh 3,000 pounds?
Because I guess like if he's super heavy, I got a lot into the physics of it. Like if he's shifting his weight, like I guess he could throw you around. But
maybe it's like a Tai Chi thing. Like he's just really good at small movements that generate a lot of force.
Using the weight against them.
This is my pitch, because I always feel bothered by there's an ambulance in the background coming to get us because we're too scared. Is like I'm always bothered by the plot whenever there's like a parent who like won't listen. You always just want to scream as a kid or a viewer or anything, like just tell him, just scream. I don't care if I'm grounded. This dummy's real. Look, what point do you think would get Mr. Wood to reveal himself to the parents? My theory, and I thought this was maybe worth it just to solve the problem, was you ask your parents to calmly sit down on the bed, you sit Mr. Wood down on the bed next to them, and then give Mr. Wood like a knife or a gun. Like you're baiting him to attack the parents. You have to basically like sacrifice...
Mr. Wood's gonna wait it out, dude. He's too smart, man.
You think he would just go for like never attacking the parents?
Yeah, I think he knows.
I think he would realize that it's more torture not to kill your parents when he makes it so easy. So he'd be torturing the kids by not killing his parents.
Well, that was the other thing, is like the game plan of Mr. Wood. Again, if he's a demon, he probably just wants to murder, but he seemed to be more about not killing the kids. Again, sorry, a lot of ambulances in the background.
Yeah, did a train derail near you? Because that's what it sounded like when it happened near me.
Well, it's Glendale. It's a pretty rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
So the game plan of Mr. Wood is to enslave the girls, not kill them. It seems like.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he ever wants to kill them. He wants to hit them.
Yeah. What do you think his game plan is?
Exactly.
Here? Like end game.
So let's say they yield, because he keeps saying like, if you don't listen to me, I'm going to hurt the ones you love, including your dog, which actually moves me emotionally. But then say, I'm going to go hurt your dad. Go to my dad. My dad will kick your ass. Like, fine. Yeah. But even if you yield as a kid, like, is he going to start building just a slave empire across the town?
He might be the Egyptian god.
Because that's kind of fascinating. I wish they'd kind of just played out and been like, yes, Mr. Wood, what would you like us to do? And you're like, go steal all the mail or whatever. Like, what is it?
Yeah. Like, what's the extent of Slappy's or Mr. Wood's terror here? What is he capable of?
I guess he's capable of trying to strangle a dog, which is pretty brutal. Honestly, probably one of the darker things in the book series.
Yeah, it was upsetting, and I mean, Chucky, at least he wants to put his soul inside another human being.
Right.
He wants to get out of the body he's captured in. So maybe that exists in this world, and it's too dark of a subject to breach for.
Well, I mean, I can get into it. I can get into it now. I did a little digging because I was trying to remember this as well. I remembered maybe from the TV show that there was a clear moving either from one of the, I don't remember which Night of Living Dummy book it is, but I remember from the TV show, and I thought it might come with the books, was there was a clear idea if you destroy one of the dummies, that you see like a green essence move into the next dummy, implying that there's like a possessed ghost that will just keep finding new bodies to inhabit. So,
Ultron.
Ultron. It's basically Avengers Ultron.
Gotcha.
So I was digging in a little bit into it, and according to the backstory, I think there's been a little bit of retconning going on. Is that you find out in later books, so this is spoiling a little bit of stuff. I think we're okay to handle spoilers, right, for future Night of the Living Dummies.
Okay.
Is that Slappy and Mr. Wood are actually brothers.
What?
They are brother dummies, even though they came from completely different places. that you find out that Slappy and Mr. Wood, I think he mentions it a little bit before he dies, like there's some sort of curse or a mage or something.
Yeah, he says he was
There's a sorcerer.
An ancient sorcerer's curse.
Ancient sorcerer's curse, but they are both carved by an ancient sorcerer out of the same coffin wood. So Slappy
my God.
and Mr. Wood are, because they're from the same coffin wood, are brothers.
Ew, so you're saying they touched a thing that touched a dead body? That's nasty.
Gross.
So, but there's like this whole retcon stuff of, and I'll bring this up now because I am super on board, is there has been a lot of like retconning and establishing of the backstory of Slappy and the dummy over the last couple years, and that there is actually a ongoing series now called Goosebumps Horrorland, where it's like an ongoing story that combines all of the Goosebumps franchises.
Oh, what?
So it's like Dark Tower.
Yes, kind of like Dark Tower. Except so like Horrorland is like the main setting, but like Slappy's there, and like the green goo are there. So like somehow someone, probably not R.L. Stine, maybe it's R.L. Stine, is just connecting the dots and having like Slappy's talking to them, and then the giant bug monster from Panic Street is coming down the, like, it's a weird thing. So I think that's where they're trying to cover now, like weaving together the intricate plots of Slappy and his brother.
Is that what the movie's going to be that's coming out?
No.
Kinda
The movie plot, there is a still online you can see of Slappy because I believe he is the main villain from the movie.
Oh, that's awesome. Wait, you got to share that. Because I actually like the log line for Goosebumps, the movie. If I remember right, it is that you're following essentially a character that is R.L. Stine. I don't know if he actually is playing R.L. Stine. He is. Jack Black's playing R.L. Stine, who's like a young adult horror writer, and that all of his visions come true.
Well, I happen to have a bit of an exclusive. Someone I know has seen the Goosebumps movie.
What? You haven't told me about this at
What?
all.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, well, I've debated about whether
You still getting the fan club? Is that how you know?
I'm still in the fan club. That's how I got it. And Goosebumps movie. I don't have a lot of the details, but I can tell you the premise of the film is, in fact, R.L. Stine is the R.L. Stine we all grew up with, the actual horror book writer, played by Jack Black. And he's a recluse and doesn't interact with his fans in public very often because it turns out that all of the stories he writes come true. And whenever he opens up the original manuscripts that he wrote, they come out and are alive and are real things. And it's up to him to kind of imprison them like a Van Helsing character.
Which is actually kind of fun. Which is actually kind of a fun setup for it. I'm kind of on
That's
board.
actually, yeah, I would see that. He might be good at capturing them and putting them into the books, but books aren't, as we're finding out, aren't really that great.
Actually, this movie would become my instant favorite movie, is if there's this whole weird thing, like, the only way to defeat the bad guys is to use cliffhanger. I mean, like, there's this whole, like, the bad guys' main weakness is they can't help but let you think things are going to happen, but they don't actually happen. We got to use that against them. Like, they're just like something that's just super aware of the books and how a horror book works.
It would actually make him a kind of a tragic character if he was like, yeah, I'm not even a good writer, but I have to write these stories just to try to trap these monsters. I'm terrible.
Thank God somebody decided to publish them. Now I can eat.
No, we'll have to go see the movie. We have to go see
Yeah.
it.
For sure.
I think we're going to have to all get together and go see that movie.
Yeah, we'll meet at Four
I
Corners.
like that idea. I kind of just want the movie to be kind of like New Nightmare, where R.L. Stine goes on a talk show and then like Curly comes out and he's like, "I'm real," and then he's like, "By the way, R.L., we're old friends. I love you. I'm just a guy in a suit." And then he's driving on his way home, and Curly's alive.
I'm super on board. So for Slappy, who is kind of the main villain of this and everything, you find out, like, so again, Slappy. Here's the theory. I want to hear what you guys think. Was Slappy taken over and possessed by Mr. Wood after he's defeated, or is Slappy alive the whole time?
I got the sense that it was it was like Evil Dead, where they read the incantation and all the dummies that were in the room came to life.
Yeah, because my theory was the first time they tried to defeat Mr. Wood, a sound but stupid plan, because they don't ever think about just like smashing him with a hammer, is they bury him in a locker chest in the dirt, and the neighbor's yard is under construction.
Yeah,
Right.
And then he yells, "I have plans." There's a tiny beat where like they think they hear something in the bushes, but it's like, oh, it's probably a raccoon. I think that's Slappy, right? Like, I think that's Slappy who dug him
In the
up.
bushes.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you're right. I thought maybe it was the dog that did it, but you might be right. I think it might be Slappy.
My theory is Slappy was alive the whole time, dug him up, even though he doesn't seem to want Mr. Wood around, and then dug Mr. Wood free because either one of two things happened. They buried Mr. Wood, and Slappy dug him up later because they weren't suspecting him, or Mr. Wood actually has teleporting powers where he phased from the backyard into their kitchen just covered in dirt to fight them for the final battle.
Maybe he does have powers.
Yeah, he just, you know what? He didn't want to. He was saying he had them, but he didn't want to show off, though.
Yeah.
Puppet powers.
The way I viewed Mr. Wood's powers, he was basically like a kid with a stink bomb who was like power tripping like crazy, but really all he could do was just be really annoying. He was Jam. He was Jam from Parks and Rec.
He's Councilman Jam, who can
got
summon
Jam.
poop bile, and that's about it. Yeah, I'd like to think that Slappy was always alive at the same time and just been plain. Again, great beat from Let's Get Invisible, like just the subtle mirror person who didn't want to reveal that they infiltrated the world. But
Right.
now Slappy is the bad guy for future books.
Well, if he's alive the whole time, then he's laying in the dumpster. Somebody didn't throw him there because he can't throw a magic puppet away. They just show up again.
Yeah, exactly. Or
He murdered somebody. He murdered somebody and left himself there to be found.
Well, yeah, dude, what I was going to say is this is, okay, we've been talking about which endings are the scariest, and one of them, the Plant Dad, kind of scary, because it was, like, creepy, and we were like, okay, Plant Dad potentially being
Plant
stuck
Dad
in
is
the backyard.
dad's living plant stuck in the grass.
Kind of creepy. Killing a man with a camera that kills people, also scary. Direct
murder always scary.
Then they also directly murder a man they also directly murdered a man in the Mummy one, too. Kid murder's scary, but I think this one was the scariest because the cliffhanger left off with, like, the puppet being like, I'm gonna fuck you guys up.
Yeah, or they became best friends.
Well, didn't he call them slaves? Didn't Slappy call them slaves,
Yeah,
too?
we should imply, this will be very important, whenever we get to Night of the Living Dummy 2, if Slappy does not reference the other kids,
As
he
his slaves.
murdered them. Like, if we don't hear about them, if he doesn't say, like, I left these kids in the dust, they are dead and buried in that construction yard. By the way, like, probably one of the most frustrating cliffhangers is they're finally battling Mr. Wood. They're like, he's chasing all over the dirt. Again, don't know what his game plan is, where he's going. He seems to want to stay at the house to murder them. He seems very obsessed with these people. He can go anywhere. They chase him through the construction yard, and like they have him by the shoulders, and are going to put him underneath the moving steamroller.
Yeah.
I am on the edge of my seat. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. And then, oh no, the dog got out. The dog's going to get hit by a steamroller. Like the worst cliffhanger.
That was bad. That was real bad. And then they push the dog out of the way, and then the guy just happens to get run over.
Yeah, they just go right back to what they were doing.
It's such a weird beat. It didn't make any sense whatsoever.
The best part too is when he gets run over, and then the guy gets off the thing. He's like, "Holy shit! I killed a kid!"
Yeah,
I saw a little thing run
scariest
beneath
part
our
of the
steamroller.
book.
Yeah, the two most intense part of the book were at the beginning when they thought they found a dead kid in the dumpster, and at the end when the steamroller operator thought he had killed a kid, and it lingers on that moment.
It lingers because they're like, "No, it's just our dummy." He's like, "You sure it wasn't a kid? Did I kill a kid?"
You gotta tell me, did I kill a
I know what it
kid?
feels like.
It's truly heartbreaking. My heart went out to that guy.
Also, 2 steamrollers on one house construction job seems like a pretty ridiculous construction project.
It was really uneven land.
Really uneven land.
really uneven.
So that's the end of Mr. Wood, who I think does not show up for future installments of Goosebumps. I could be
Hold on.
wrong.
Also, he blew up in a mushroom cloud of stink stuff.
That's right. That's right. It would have been terrible. He's a stink bug.
Yeah.
He's a stink bug. Yeah, but I don't know if he shows up later. I kind of feel like he does come back. I'm kind of feeling like Mr. Wood's coming back.
Yeah, so you gotta look this way. Either Mr. Wood is, an essence, and he is now Slappy. Like, Slappy is the same. I think it depends on, if we have to see if there's a tonal shift in Slappy's attitude as he's Slappy. So he's, essentially lives again. Or Mr. Wood is dead, and Slappy is just like the other one.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like those characters from Lost that are just eternal spirits.
But it's so strange that Slappy, who became an iconic face of Goosebumps, is not really present. It would be like the first Halloween movie, and if Michael Myers wasn't in the entire movie, there's another serial killer, and then at the end, the serial killer is like, I got away. And then Michael Myers said, no, you didn't. And he stabbed him. He said, hi, everybody. I'm Michael Myers. I'm taking over from this
Now
series.
you're scared of me.
Well, it's funny you should say that because the first Jason movie, Jason was not in it.
What?
It was
I don't
actually,
remember this.
spoiler alert, 30-year-old movie.
Oh, yeah.
But it was actually
that's
Jason's
right.
mother who was the murderer in the first Jason movie.
Oh, that's
That's
right. But
right.
then
Everyone
That's
remembers him as the big bad guy because in the next movie, it turns out that the dead son that she was avenging actually was alive and was a supernatural monster man.
So that's like
Yeah.
someone taking over the next one and going, it'd be better if it was the actual guy.
Yes.
Like, we need a giant.
That movie's awesome. It might be the best Jason movie in my opinion because
The first one?
the second.
Oh, the second one. Okay.
Well, first one because Kevin Bacon's butt. You can see it.
Hell yeah.
But
Kevin Bacon and he gets
it's-
arrowed.
he's doing it. He's having some teenage camp sex. And the second one is great because it's a great movie, awesome, bad guy, but there's a kid in a wheelchair. There's a kid in a wheelchair. You don't think that guy's going to die. Why don't you watch the movie? Find out what happens.
I've never
Why don't you
been
watch that
more
movie? He
intrigued to
probably
watch
won't
a
die.
movie.
He's a nice guy. He's in a chair. Why don't you watch that movie?
I've never been more intrigued to watch
I think
a
Dom
movie.
wants us to watch that movie.
I kind of want to now.
It's spooky. Fair warning.
I will have to say though, of all the villains in this book, I guess there's only two, but of the villain that's in this book, his lines when he gets possessed are priceless.
Dude, Aaron, I'm not a dream, I'm a nightmare was so clutch. I was like, I'm on board with Mr. Wood now.
Yeah, I love Mr. Wood's rant the first time he becomes possessed. He goes, "You're a jerk," he said in a low, throaty growl. "You're a stupid jerk. Stupid moron. Get lost. Get lost, stupid jerk," he rasped. My question, is Mr. Wood a parrot? Because this is how a parrot would sound after a polite old person yelled at it too much.
Oh my god, it could be the
That
ghost
wasn't
of
a parrot, Aaron. That was the real Mr. Wood. Like if you would come across a parrot one day when you do and you will come across a parrot who says that, that's what that is.
That's it. I also loved a line that he had towards the end where, am I the only one who found the imagery of a dummy shouting, "This is my house now," and then sucker punching a little girl in the stomach?
Yeah,
as
he's
utterly
taking over
hilarious.
that house. His game plan seems to be just to own it.
He's just an abusive husband.
I would think that ideally, Mr. Wood sounds entertaining enough that I would not mind if I was like, strong enough to fight off Mr. Wood. Just like put him like halfway into some concrete and just have him as like a nice home fixture. Like he's frozen solid. He can't get free. He'll never be able to strike at you because his hands and feet are bound in cement. And he's just like a fun little like he's like a Billy Bass.
Conversation piece.
He's a Billy Bassmouth fish. They're just like on the side, like, "Hey, what's going on? You guys are all pieces of shit." Just like, oh, that's Mr. Wood. He's a possessed doll.
It's a motion sensor.
Yeah.
And then occasionally it'll just go, "A kid? I killed a kid?"
Do you guys have
That would be a fun thing to bring out and just throw things at all night.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I think a dummy, once you're beyond the point of like, okay, he is made of 20 pounds of wood. I got this.
Yeah.
They're not that big of an issue. You just got to get him
No.
in a spot. You're fine. Just run him
No,
over.
you bring him out and you go, "Hey, look, this guy's gonna say he's got powers a lot. He has none. He's got no powers. Don't worry about it. We're gonna be fine. Just listen to what he says and have a good time."
Yeah, for anything that
Just
ever...
don't try to slap him with your dick because he does bite.
He's a big biter.
Oh yeah, he bit a lot. This also reminded me of, this must have just been burned into my brain. There's a few like phrases from Goosebumps that are just kind of burned into my childhood brain. And one of them is that anytime they fight one of these dummies and it falls to the ground, it lets out a painful moan. Like, I think R.L. Stine just likes to write that when something gets hurt. It's like it lets out a guttural groan. So theoretically, it's horrifying, kind of weird. These dummies can feel pain.
Oh yeah, he has some pretty interesting descriptions for how they hit people too. Instead of saying he punched her in the stomach, I think he says that he shoved a wooden fist into her gut.
He shoved it in there.
Were you guys ever rooting for Mr. Wood? Speaking of, like sometimes it's kind of just like, go, Mr. Wood, go.
The world's against you.
If there was a scene where they come upstairs and Mr. Wood's smoking a cigarette and doing some pull-ups, I would want to see. if that happened, I would root for Mr.
Just
Wood
like
more.
straight out of
I think
American
that's pretty
Beauty.
good.
This would be
Yeah,
my...
I bet you he's got like Harvey Keitel, like old man strength kind of body.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Harvey Keitel.
And he cries real weird. You guys ever see Harvey Keitel cry in a movie?
Yeah, it's real weird.
Like it sounds like that. It sounds like someone's letting air out of a balloon.
I think my pitch, the only way to make this book better is Mr. Wood becomes sentient way early on by way before they read the incantation, like at least 10 chapters earlier. And it's just Mr. Wood winning. I would love to see where that goes. Like, he conquers the two girls, and dog does not get hurt. Dogs never get hurt in my stories. But
Girls okay, dog never.
But he does some sort of like, yeah, I'm going to kill you, or I'll hurt your family, and you guys have to listen to what I say. And then you slowly watch Mr. Wood assemble a crazy pyramid of power of human slaves, all being run by a puppet mastermind who just hangs out at home, I guess. I guess Mr. Wood would just hang out at home.
He's like Kingpin.
Like, for his plan to work, either someone has to carry him on his shoulders like Master Blaster, or he has to stay at home, and then his slaves have to just go out and do his bidding, and then come back home and be like, "Did you guys burn some houses down?" "Yes, we did, Mr. Wood." "Good."
Let me see your hands.
Let me see your
Is there
hands.
ash on your hands? I want to see.
I can't do much else because I'm just a dummy and I don't move that fast.
Good, you better have done it, or I'll make you stink real bad.
I'm gonna barf all over you.
Oh God, just wait. Oh God, just wait till he runs out of barf. Oh God, just.
It's magic barf. It never runs out.
Oh shit.
Do you guys have any improvements or notes you would give to the book?
I think I'm with you. I would have liked to have seen him control the sister that he belonged to. Like if he had like you said became alive and sentient earlier, and then maybe like fucked with her, and her like thing was trying to find a way to like tell her sister or something like that. You know?
Yeah. Because then it would be like the puppet becomes the puppet master, and it's a role reversal, and you're like,
exactly.
Why is my sister acting?
Yeah, and then becomes that great Batman villain of Scarface and I think the Puppet Master is what he's called.
Yeah, like the puppet and this.
You guys know that Batman villain? It's kind of an obscure one.
Yeah.
But like a guy who has a puppet and he seems to be insane, but you find out the puppet actually might be possessed and real, and
Yeah.
it's kind of the craziest thing in Batman in some ways.
Awesome.
He's a little gangster, right?
Yeah, he's like a little Al Capone gangster whose puppet master is just, or his assistant, his butler, who should be the normal human, is just like this like meek little guy who should be from like a Christopher Guest movie. And you think like, oh, he must be the actual insane person. But then like you always do the great twist of like, you know, the puppet gets tossed off his hand. You think the puppet master's defeated, and puppet stands up and starts talking to himself. So there's like dark occult stuff happening with that part of Batman.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think this book could probably stand to add a few more characters who bad things happen to. Either like they
like
Mr.
Cody
Wood,
Matthews. He could have taken some shit.
like Agent Cody Banks.
Yeah, I was gonna say Agent Cody Banks and Hillary Duff.
Like I think Frankie Muniz has a really great face for bad things to happen.
Oh, so
to.
what you're saying is like they're having their adventure, the parents are asleep, and Frankie Muniz knocks on the door. He's like, "Hi, everybody, I'm Frankie Muniz. You might know me from Malcolm in the Middle. I also supposedly own a bunch of parking garages around all the airports of the country. That's the current urban legend about what I've been doing with my money, if you've never heard."
And then out of nowhere, a dummy comes and bites his face.
It just bites Frankie Muniz.
No, he comes in the window Sam style, like on Clarissa. He's like, "Hey girls, what's going on? Puppets, cool, I love them." He's like playing with them. And he's like, "All right, see you later." The next day, car accident.
completely unrelated, but it's just the scary safety.
It's scary that you can die.
Well, you don't know that whenever it's brought up, Mr. Wood laughs.
That's genuinely
He
terrifying.
just goes, "Now that's a joke."
Click it or ticket. He just yells out loud. What does that even mean?
Ticket.
Yeah, he's like telling Chris to write that into the act. Why don't you write that into the act? Yeah.
It's like
Oh man, I don't like this guy already. He's creepy, man.
It's
Ugh.
like the movie Nightcrawler.
I like
He's
to
coming
imagine
up
that
with
the rap was really filthy, but everybody was still really into it. Like the principal was like, "Yeah, shit, yeah." It was like DMX dirty.
Yeah, I wrote that down. It's like, do you think it's like old school Run DMC or NWA, Wu-Tang? Like, what kind of battle rap?
I guess Wu-Tang would actually be accurate if this was written in 1990. What, going to guess 5? I don't know.
I feel like it says
1993.
1993. I think it's pre Wu-Tang, right?
So the top. Let's
Yeah, I
just
think so.
assume this is how R.L. Stein writes, right? Like if he was going to ever do this, top hip hop charts.
He went straight to Billboard.
2013.
92. They were 92. They began, but 93 was the release of "Protect Your Neck," which is a song that these puppets would probably understand,
Relate
and
to.
relate
They'd
to.
be like, yeah, I gotta protect
my neck. They tried to rip it off earlier.
Got to protect that joint.
Yeah, this is the time where I think that R.L. Stein, preparing for this scene that he was writing, listened to a little bit of hip hop, probably decided not to write the lyrics.
Got scared.
But he would have listened to a little bit of like Naughty by Nature, a little bit of Dre.
maybe some De La Soul when he's chilling out.
Yeah, a little bit of De La Soul, and like, okay. And then he never wrote any scenes from it, but got a secret appreciation for 90s hip hop.
But he just imagined the dummy singing nothing but a G thing.
Yeah, that hidden scene is definitely in his manuscript, and he does not. That's when he can't let out because the world would see it because it would become real, like in the movie.
Here's the shit Scholastic wouldn't touch.
Can I say there was a point in this book where everybody was so sarcastic all the time and constantly researching and trying out jokes? I couldn't remember exactly how it went. I thought everybody was going to be possessed by a Quipster dummy. Even the mom at the very beginning has like some really sick burns. Like, when they're like, when are we going to get our own rooms, Mom? And she replies, on the 12th of never.
Dude, I wrote that one down because I was like, I haven't heard that adult insult since I was like 8. And that was a callback.
I also wrote that down to use in my real life.
On the 12th of never.
Yeah, I would like to hope that this would be my like fan plot would be if you ever going to get into the history of Slappy, that magic sorcerer was having trouble coming up with some jokes and entertaining himself because it's the Dark Ages, assumably, and all you can do is throw mud at each other and curse people. So he makes an evil dummy to tell him jokes, which becomes, I guess, the spirit of Mr. Wood or Slappy. And then the dummy learns that pain equals comedy. Like he becomes kind of like the Jeff Ross of Slappy Dummies. Like, oh, it's fun to insult people and hurt them.
Yes.
Like to be like a comedy
master general.
the Comedy Central roast hack, and then that evolved over the centuries into becoming just, oh, I should murder and enslave people. Calling people slaves is really funny.
That was really edgy around 3000 BC.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's all I got. Do you guys have any other insights and gems of knowledge? Gems of knowledge.
Gems and nuggets.
I got
some gems of nuggets. I love that expression. We got to figure out what it means.
Well, can't edit that now. And if not, I think we should. I think we can wrap this. Well,
you know what? I did want to question you guys on one thing.
Sure.
So a lot of the times when we read these, we try to figure out what the subconscious story R.L. Stein was trying to tell us about these kids' lives was. Like the Let's Get Invisible one was them discovering masturbation.
Right.
What was this one? Was there something, or was this just
Follow
a
your
straightforward
dreams?
tale of horror?
I think this was a warning on the evils of capitalism, because all the girls want to do is make money off of the dummies. As soon as they get it, they're like, I'm going to make so much money. And the first 3/4 of the book is them planning different and bigger venues that they try to exploit.
Holy shit, you're right.
You just blew it wide open.
Dude, you're right. You're right. Because it's her first job. She's making money, and then she becomes the slave to the dollar, like he says at the end.
Oh my God, you're so right. And when the father has the issue of his 2 annoying daughters complaining about who gets to use the dummy, he goes out and buys another one. Money. He tries to solve his problem with money. He brings evil into his family.
It's a crime.
I think Aaron just nailed it. I will share. This was a theory being dissected on the Goosebuds subreddit. Thank you, by the way, to everyone who participates there. On the Night of Living Dummy pre-discussion, one of our listeners, Titsnicker,
I just snickered at that.
showing you where his giving a preview of what his type of discussion is going to be about by his username, dissected the same idea about the whole fact that there's like a theme of sexual exploration and that sort of thing. So this is what he says. So in this book, we got twin sisters Lindy, who finds herself Slappy, a.k.a. slapping the snatch. And we got sister number 2, Chris, who gets jealous of her sister's newfound masturbation discovery. So Chris starts playing with Mr. Wood. I wonder what that could imply.
Oh, shit.
And then the rush of hormones causes the sisters to begin going through some teenage mood swings. Lindy starts fucking with Chris's shit, and Chris ends up like ejaculating on some students and a teacher.
Oh my God, he's right.
And gets her ass suspended.
Holy
the sisters
shit.
decide to work together to sort out their gathering sexual frustration and curiosity. They dig together all night long and jerk off the dog or some shit. And the story ends with a couple of Cleveland steamers. He kind of lost me there at the end. But he ends with the true message of the book is what Mr. Wood kept reminding them. You are now slaves to masturbation.
Dude.
Oh my god!
That actually is a legit, especially since so much of the book is them waking up like hot and muggy and then staring at like their doll in the corner.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what too is funny is
God.
R.L. Stein loves that imagery of a window at night blowing with the blinds blowing and stuff like that, and the curtains blowing. I think that's been in every book, right?
You want to know why?
Why?
Because that's what the camera goes to when people are having sex on TV, dude.
Shit.
Goes over to the window blowing, and he's thinking of sex this whole time, guys.
Oh shit!
I just assumed it was
Yeah.
because whenever he was drawing a blank on what to write about, he would just turn to his immediate right, and there would be a window that's blowing. And he was like, "Aha!"
He's like, "Ooh, that scares me every time."
I forget it's there.
Yeah, I think we weren't all crazy. Everyone had similar ideas about how there's a weird metaphor to what these girls are experiencing and trying to grow up. I feel a few of the people in the subreddit and on Twitter comment about it. Like, basically, this book is about two girls who either are trying to grow sexually or creatively, and a angry old white man is just trying to hold them down literally and beat them into like from not following their dreams.
Yeah,
Pretty messed up. R.L. Stein.
I like that, but I really like Aaron's money.
Aaron's is the actual scholarly.
Aaron's money thing is so good.
Write a thesis.
It's so money.
About. You could probably write a college thesis about it.
Probably. That was the first thing I latched on and was like, these girls immediately think they're going to become millionaires off these dummies.
I mean, I did, but that's not everyone's story.
I'd like to think that the comedian who got super big with all of his Jeff Dunham. I'd like to think Jeff Dunham just read this as a kid and went like, yeah,
aha!
Yeah, angry mean puppets that are kind of racist is kind of a great idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
To get famous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Donatello from Ninja Turtles 2. Yeah. Obscure reference if you don't know that, but go look up the openings.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
All right, I think that is the episode. Night of the Living Dummy. This was a blast. Aaron, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Guys.
I gotta say, this is one of the best. I think this is the best episode. I loved it.
Yeah,
I think with Aaron's idea that this was all about money, I became the smartest I've ever been in my life.
the first time
I
Goosebumps
feel like
ever taught
we
anyone.
had a great time. We reviewed the book. We laughed, and then Aaron legitimized it.
Yep.
I'm an alley-ooper. You pass me the ball, and I'll alley-oop it back to you.
You're the Scottie Pippen of podcasts.
Yeah. And then you tomahawk slam, and then someone goes, "He's on fire!"
Aaron, I got news for you. You slammed. Okay.
Oh my God!
You were Aaron. No, you were the
Boom
one.
shakalaka.
Aaron, you were the one that slammed. You were the one that slammed.
You
He
win.
bricked it. No, that's a bad one.
And thank you for everyone who gave us feedback on the subreddit. We're on Reddit /r/Goosebuds. Everyone who tweets at us, you guys are amazing. We're on Twitter @GoosebudsPod. We have people seeing you guys tell other people on Twitter about the show is amazing. It's great. If anyone actually listens to the show from it, we appreciate it. We see people like every day doing it. At Danny Sanya, at Jesse Stage, at Holstein Cholo, at Reese's the Wise. So Dom, you may want to sue that guy.
Whoa, no,
I
that's
think
Reese's the
I
Wise.
know that man.
Oh, you know that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe sue
Well,
him
I
just
know.
to say hi.
I know. We internet know. We internet know each other.
Well, Dom, you know him because he's on your show. That's him.
Shit.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. Maybe this is a great way to mention you go check out Fantasy Fiction with Dom.
Oh wait, the other show. That's right. That's right. You can check out my other show sometime. Fantasy Fiction. It's a podcast. We read stories. We have a great time.
There's episodes with me and Chad
That's right.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure Aaron's there in spirit as a ghost, or
I'm there as more of a specter or of a phantasm.
Aaron's going to break down why the stories that we tell, what they're really about. He's gonna.
And then when you try to say otherwise, I will tell you you're wrong to your face.
And tell us that you have powers, right? That's
I have powers. I'm warning you.
I'm just expecting it's going to be like Aaron listens to all your stories, and it's like 5 stories in a row of like about like dick warriors. You know what I mean? Like just like big giant dicks fighting. Like I can't read anything into it. I don't know. It's untouchable. And you can check out Aaron along with me on Paranoia Shoppe, the other podcast we do about monsters and conspiracy theories and other spooky stuff, but it's real. But also, not only is telling people about the show online on Twitter, Facebook, maybe you mail a grandma about the show. Maybe you snail mail someone and tell them about a podcast. I don't know why you would. The other best way to support the show is iTunes.
That's right. You can. iTunes is a thing that Apple made where you can go and purchase music and put your music on it. That's what iTunes is. But you can find our show on iTunes. Please do. Even if you don't use iTunes, go to Goosebuds, find it, just search it in the iTunes store, hit subscribe. It costs you nothing. And it's a great way to support the show. You can also leave us a review. That helps us as well. And you can leave us a review as long or as short as you want it to be. Like this one here. I'm going to read mine, guys. I picked one out.
Hold on real quick. Dom, you have a bright future in public radio fundraising.
You know, hey, this is the March membership drive, guys. We are annoying. We have water bottles to give out. It's a terrible job, but we're having a great time.
Next up, 12 hours of Terry Gross.
Sounds
right,
wonderful.
Okay, I'm just going to interrupt the best radio ever produced to go ahead and beg you for money. But, I mean, not that that's what they're doing, but that's what that job is.
Yeah.
But here's a review. It's by Zroland. It's titled, "Listener Beware, You're In for a Scare." Left on April 13th. Guys, if my memory serves correct, that was not Friday the 13th. Okay.
Where are you going with this?
I call a podcast that breaks down children's horror books, one of my favorite podcasts of all time. But here we are. Well, thank you. Thanks for that wonderful review.
I'm glad you're here, stuck in the void of the internet.
You'll never leave.
I'm going to read a review by Hooligams. He said, "Spectacular blend of funniness and nostalgia. This podcast is a great mix of good conversation, hilarious mockery, and childhood memories for anyone that grew up through the 90s. As a guy who drives for a living, Chad Don Paul, which I assume is a new amalgamation of all three of us.
Our fusion character you can see
when
in the
you do the
DBZ
fusion
show.
dance.
Chummel makes an hour fly by with lots of laughs and great discussions. And this is coming from a guy who dressed up as Curly the Skeleton for Halloween when he was 10.
Wow.
Super cool.
That's a deep cut.
That's Aaron Waltke level of dedication right there.
It is. I was probably that kid. That may have been written by me. And finally, I'll read one. I like this because it's simple to the point. It's from Scoots for Days on May 6, 2015. The title is Good. And he writes, "I wouldn't kick it out of bed for eating crackers."
I don't know what that
Now
phrase
that's-
means, but I love it.
And I'm using it always.
Yep.
I think it's like a spouse that you would love, even if they're a cracker eater. I think that's what it means. Thank you.
It's 5 stars, so clearly it's positive.
Thanks, Scoots.
Clearly, it's love. It's 5 stars.
I'm gonna drop this bomb. I'm gonna drop this bomb on you called "Goosebuds Hits the Nostalgia Hotspot" by Luis S.B. Hernandez. He says, "If you like Goosebumps, hate R.L. Stine, and 9/11 jokes tickle your funny bone, all in that order, then this podcast is the one for you." Super glad, by the way, that 9/11 jokes are becoming our thing.
They aren't jokes. They aren't jokes about 9/11. They're jokes that take place in 9/11.
Huge
So
difference.
it's real.
Good point.
It's different. We're laughing at something different.
True. In all seriousness, Goosebuds is just 3 friends discussing the books a lot of us grew up with, reminding us how fantastic it probably was, then ripping it apart for the cheese it all really is. Whether casually listening at home, work, or on your daily commute, you'll feel the burden of time alleviate as you wish that this podcast would never end. Great job, guys. Aww.
Hey, we did a good job.
I like that his last sentence is basically like, this will help shuttle you towards your grave.
1 more hour off the mortal coil. Guys, you're 1 more hour dead. Happy Goosebuds, everybody. Dom, do you want to take us out, or I think you have the slogan now.
Guys, we had fun. We got scared. We laughed.
We learned.
We had some theories shared. We learned something. And guys, until next time, keep on goosebudsing it.
You're really the goosebudsman of this podcast.
Hey, I'll take us out. I'll take us out. We'll all hop on my back. I'll figure out a way to get us out of here.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone. I love you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.